Hello, everyone. My name is Ioana Romanescu. And before starting, I have a question for all of you. Does anyone here have a superpower? Well, I thought I had one. Growing up, I thought perfectionism was my superpower. Overanalyzing the slightest events, creating multiple scenarios with different courses of action, overthinking each decision and feeling like the world has ending for every tiny mistake. No, I wasn't born with it. My perfectionism, which is in fact a fancier and more acceptable way for saying anxiety, was triggered by my past experiences. My grandpa, may he rest in peace, loved me so much. He wanted what was best for me. Stop slouching. Sit up straight. Don't chew gum. It's disgusting for a girl. Keep your eyebrows down. Don't speak with your mouth full. You're too young to do your nails. Do you have all day? As the list goes on, no matter how hard I tried, he'd always find something else to fix about me. When he passed away, it was awful. I always wanted him to be happy with me, but I was never good enough. And as he died, I realized I'll never be. But this never stopped me from trying. My perfectionism was born the day he passed away. We are here today to talk about our past, about the big or small moments from our past that shape us. Because these moments don't go away. They stick, they grow, they change our behavior. And the people around us, our parents, our friends, our teachers, decide who we are according to our behavior. So we can say that our traumatic experiences from our past can shape who we are today. Our behavior is like a language. Each of our actions tells something about ourselves. And yet, not everyone speaks behavior. Sometimes the message gets caught in translations. And for most people, what they get is what they see. Struggling to trust, controlling each action, procrastinating, trying to get things perfect, obsessing with little details. These may seem like flaws in people's eyes, but in reality, they are coping mechanisms. Behavior born of our past experience. As I said earlier, we are here to talk today about our past. I'm adding on now, we cannot rewrite our past, but we can rewrite our stories. When I was 5, my mom got seriously sick. I stayed with my grandparents for a while, separated from my parents and my newborn brother. While I loved my grandparents, I needed my mom. I didn't understand then what was going on, but I learned that the person I loved most, the person I needed most, the person I relied on most, was gone. I didn't know what to expect, if she was coming back or not. No one was telling me anything. Thank God my mom miraculously healed. But even if things went back to normal, my sense of security was shattered. Sometimes I hold on to relationships too tightly. Other times I let go too easily. Sometimes I desperately look for reassurance. Other times I feel that if I don't care at all, I can't get hurt. But I don't want to traumatize you as I speak. So let's lighten up a bit. Let me tell you another story from my past. It features my older cousin. She was so beautiful and cool. She possessed some kind of magical powers, as every time I went to her house, she turned her room into an unsuppressible fortress. She had this sign on her door. It said, "No entry." To her, it was a boundary. To me, an invitation to test my skills. But every time I managed to break through into the magical realm of makeup and high heels, she turned into the worst witch. Jokes aside, her actions hurt my feelings and strengthened my belief that I wasn't good enough. Otherwise, why would someone keep rejecting me time after time again? Later on, I realized that people need space, and a no is not necessarily personal. Last but not least, let me tell you a story about shows. More in depth about my no-show uncle. Yup, that's right, you got it. My dearest uncle never showed up. First, he would show such an enthusiasm that people would think he was invited to see the Phantom of the Opera or the West Side Story, not a school play. He would tell me, "What, Little Red Riding Hood? My whole life I wanted to see this show. And you have a solo? Can you give me an autograph at the end?" And I believed him every single time. The first time he didn't show up, he told me that his glasses looked like grandma's, and he was afraid that the wolf would eat him instead. For my One Planet Future show, his excuse was that a squirrel trespassed his property, and he needed to solve that property issue. Last year, I played in the Bombshells. He finally found a better excuse. Apparently, due to heavy traffic, Waze routed him the other direction to the old town for a quiz night. I understood then that even if I had won an Oscar, he wouldn't have showed up. I wasn't good enough, but I already knew that. But thanks to him, I learned a new skill. Skills are important in life, right? I learned to pretend I didn't care. Not to mention my resilience. Only when you are let down so many times, you get to a point where you reach such a high level of resilience. All the stories I shared with you today are glimpses into the past. But how does our past affect us today? I did some research. Here's what we know. Childhood trauma affects everything on the Center of Disease and Control Prevention website. A study about adverse childhood experiences, ACES, published in August, shows that 61% of adults have experienced at least one form of childhood trauma. And those experiences don't just stay in the past. They shape how we respond to the world. Take the brain. Trauma activates the amygdala, your fight or flight center. It gets stuck in the overdrive, making you see threats everywhere, even when you're safe. This is what we find out from an article titled "Amygdala Hijack: When Emotions Take Over," published in March 16th. In other words, the adverse childhood experiences act like puppeteers in the present. When you live with your grandparents, you can't see your parents long enough, and you may develop a need to control everything in an attempt to control chaos. When someone is constantly criticizing you, you may develop low self-esteem, fear of failure, perfectionism, emotional issues like anger or resentment, and not only. Broken promises may lead to a fear of abandonment, or trust issues, even anxiety. How do we change all that? How do we rewrite our stories? Because these stories are not only about me. They talk about anyone and everyone who suffers from trauma in the past. First step is to notice how the strings, what are pulling you. What is the behavior you wish you didn't have? Then think, why is it there? How is it protecting you, or what is it protecting you from? Finally, cut the strings. Say to yourself, it helped me to protect myself until now, but maybe I don't need them anymore. Also, don't be quick to judge others. If they have weird behavior, if they're annoying, think about the traumas they might have affected them to act this way. If you're brave and kind, you could ask them if they're okay. We are not the sum of our fears, of our mistakes, or of our labels. We are writers. We can cut the puppeteer strings today and take ownership of our life. We can start writing a new chapter with less criticism and with more kindness and understanding. Thank you very much.